This show is brought to you by Safety FM.
When the gates of earth won't let you out, this is where you fall down. You weren't ready when heaven rained down in a storm cloud. Oh, don't let your feelings out. Every word you speak on the back page, dripping in a joke in a seascape. In your love shell, you weren't ready to meet the angels. When you fall, then it don't. When you care, then it won't. You weren't ready when heaven rained down. When you fall, should've cared. When you see, stay in the night. When you
The program is rated MA-LSV. It contains strong language, sexual situations, and violence. It is intended only for mature audiences.
Finally, show with the balls to call it like it is. Rated R Safety Show on Safety FM.
Countdown to audio torture.
The Rated R Safety Show starts in 3, 2, 1.
Let the eardrum pain begin.
Forget the corporate bullshit. This is the Rated R Safety Show with your host, Dr. It doesn't matter who the host is.
It does not matter. Yeah, it's so important to start off with saying that because it really doesn't matter. I just want you to know, wow, that camera seems much higher. Let's do this. Let's move down. Hey, how are you? Welcome back. So there you go. Anyways, how was your weekend? I hope you had a grand time doing whatever. And I mean whatever the hell that you were doing. Because it's always important. It's always important to sit back and enjoy the time as you can. So let's talk real quick. Today is December the 11th, which is a Monday, just in case if you forgot. Because, you know, that Monday thing's kind of important as we are doing stuff. So anyways, it is day 345th of the year. And only 20 days remaining. So what do you got? Anything fun? Anything cool? Anything that you want to talk about? Hey, I'm just asking. So anyways, we're broadcasting from the Safety FM studios in Orlando, Florida, and coming across the multiverse known as Safety FM and hanging out with our friends and colleagues over there.
Radio in USA, Canada, UK.
Yep, USA, Canada, UK. You know how it goes. We go a little bit of everywhere. That way you're kind of good to go, ready to go, and all that fun stuff. Because that's what we need, is the fun stuff. So, anyways, let's snap back into it, and let's talk about what's important. First off, we are a show that talks about safety in the news and safety. I want to make sure that we're clear here. And it's important as I reference that because I want you to know that as we talk about these things, it's super importante that you know that this is the show that we created for you. Because people wanted us to, talk in real language about the things that go on inside of the safety programs, inside of most places. Talk about some news stories, and let's do the real talk stuff. So that's what it's about. So if you want to interact with the show, it's a simple process. callinradio.com will get you into our system, and we'll get moving and grooving from that particular point on. Outside of that, you can watch us on the different streaming platforms that's available out there if you're so inclined to do so. Also, you can take a listen to us on radiobig.fm. You can take a listen to us on Safety FM, and that's the .com. And you can listen to us on the different app. There's a Live 365 app. There's a Radio Big app. There's a iHeartRadio app. There's a TuneIn Radio app. There's the Safety FM app. So there's options. There's options on taking a gander. So, as we go in through this whole thing, we'll have some professional broadcasters come in and take over and do the things that they do. With that being said, let's talk about what was trending over the weekend.
Here is what was trending. Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, so as I take a look around a very unintentional California-focused, we'll talk about that. Britney Spears. Yeah, Britney Spears reflects on being single, and Martha Stewart is an early riser. We'll talk about that. Stranger Things will resume filming in January, and Amanda Bynes launches a new podcast. We'll get about that in hour number 2 and number 3. And he is briefly spotted at an art bazaar in Miami. We'll talk more a little bit about that. And, of course, the things that are going on inside of the world of safety in the news. So, with that being said, why don't we do this? Why don't we bring in our pro broadcasters and let them do what they do? You know, the stuff that they do. Because it's important. It's important to talk about. It's important to go through. So, with that being said, I have some Michael Kastner waiting in the wings for him to tell you about what the hell is going on with the news.
Here is the news on the Rated R Safety Show.
At least 6 people are dead after a string of tornadoes hit Tennessee over the weekend. 2 adults and 1 child were killed in Clarksville, while 3 others died in Madison, just north of Nashville. In Clarksville, Mayor Joe Pitts.
We have people who are suffering because of loss of life and injuries. One thing I love about this city, when there's a need, we rally around that need, and then we had neighbor helping neighbor.
State officials say the tornadoes caused extensive damage across several Nashville suburbs. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu says it's the beginning of the end for Hamas. In a video message Sunday, Netanyahu said dozens of militants have surrendered as Israel continues trying to wipe the Palestinian militant group out in the ongoing war in the Gaza Strip. He said it will take more time, but his message to Hamas is that it is all over. Vermont Senator Bernie Sanders says he supports Israel's right to defend itself against Hamas, but the U.S. cannot simply give Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu a blank check.
It would be irresponsible for the United States to give Netanyahu another $10 billion to continue to wage this awful war.
Speaking on CBS's Face the Nation, Sanders called what's happening in Gaza a humanitarian disaster, with most of those who've been killed and displaced being women and children. He added he believes Israel is losing the war in terms of how it's being viewed by the world. An appeals court on Friday struck down part of a New York gun control law concerning social media. Liz Warner with more.
At issue is the requirement for concealed carry applicants to disclose their social media accounts. The Second U.S. Court of Appeals noted that while reviewing public social posts by a licensing officer poses no constitutional issues, requiring applicants to disclose names they use to post, even pseudonyms, imposes an impermissible infringement on Second Amendment rights, while also posing serious First Amendment concerns.
And the S&P 500 notched a new high for 2023 on Friday. I'm Michael Kastner.
Safety in a way never heard of before. The Rated R Safety Show on Safety FM.
Story news in London, I'm Ollie Barrett. Qatar says chances of a new ceasefire between Israel and Hamas are narrowing. Donald Trump says he won't testify at his fraud trial. Conservative MPs are meeting on Monday to decide whether or not to back Prime Minister Rishi Sunak's plan on immigration. And the Philippines and China are trading accusations after their vessels were in a collision near a contested reef in the South China Sea.
Don't go anywhere.
You're listening to the home of real safety talk.
You are listening to Safety FM. We'll be right back. Safety never sounded so terrible. Rated R Safety Show.
Alex Jones is back on X. The controversial conspiracy theorist had his account restored by Elon Musk, who posted a poll Saturday asking if Jones should be allowed back. Roughly 70% of the vote said he should, with Musk tweeting Sunday that the people have spoken. A second top University of Pennsylvania official is resigning after a congressional hearing on anti-Semitism concerns on college and university campuses. Scott Carr with more in Washington.
The University of Pennsylvania's chairman of the board, Scott Bach, stepped down from his post, reports say just minutes after the resignation of university president Liz McGill on Saturday. McGill was already under pressure after a pro-Palestinian event was held on campus in September, followed by Hamas's attack on Israel and reports of rising anti-Semitism on the Penn campus. Reports say that pressure was amped up last week when McGill and the heads of other universities refused to say before a congressional panel that calling for the genocide of Jews violated their respective schools' code of conduct. The president of Harvard University, Claudine Gay, has apologized for her response. I'm Scott Carr in Washington.
Jaden Daniels is the 2023 Heisman Trophy winner. More from Chris Coraggio.
The LSU quarterback took home the award given to the player who's been voted the best in college football. Daniels scored 50 touchdowns and nearly 5,000 total yards during his senior season. He was one of 4 finalists for the Heisman, including Washington quarterback Michael Penix Jr., Ohio State wide receiver Marvin Harrison Jr., and Oregon quarterback Bo Nix. This year's Heisman ceremony, as usual, was held in New York City.
And Rolling Stone is reporting 18 companies have cut ties with a company created by hip-hop mogul Sean Diddy Combs following multiple sexual assault allegations. The companies confirmed with the magazine Sunday that they ended business relationships with Empower Global, an e-commerce digital marketplace founded in 2021 by Combs. Michael Kastner, NBC News Radio.
Listen to our host of the Rated R Safety Show. Self-implode on our airwaves. Only on Safety FM.
This portion of the show has been sponsored by Private Internet Access, America's #1 virtual private network, or VPN. Even if you use incognito mode, internet service providers is storing your browser data and many times even selling it. But Private Internet Access, or PIA, can help you. PIA encrypts and reroutes your internet traffic through one of its own servers, hiding your data from your internet service provider or network admin. And with servers in over 75 countries, you can get unrestricted access to geo-blocked content from around the world. PIA comes with easy-to-use apps and browsers extension for all devices, a rock-solid privacy policy, open source security, advanced customization settings, and it was just ranked the fastest VPN in the world by PC Magazine. And if you sign up right now with PIA, you can take advantage of a special deal only for Safety FM listeners. Only by using the following link, you can get the digital privacy for less than $2 a month. Yes, you did hear me correctly, less than $2 a month, and an extra 4 months for free. So that means for only $1.98 a month and 83% off, you can get this service for you right now. That's so much more inexpensive than virtually every other VPN on the market. And if you get it right now, you can take PIA's 30-day risk-free challenge. You can try it out for 30 days, see if you like it, and if not, just return it for a full refund. So just go to safetyfm.com/VPN. That's safetyfm.com/VPN to try out the best VPN on the planet completely risk-free. Now remember, safetyfm.com/VPN.
Is your safety training old, stale, and hacked? Is your safety trainer still preaching a warped version of behavior-based safety? How about safety training that actually addresses your hazards in your workplaces and is not standardized baloney from 25 years ago? Contact the Safety Wars team at safetywars.com or call Jim Posel at 845-269-5772. Remember, if you're receiving this message, you are the solution to unsafe workplaces.
It's always amazing to me on how technology changes, and so does the environment that we're in. And cyber criminals will do everything they can to take advantage of a system. If you don't own a home, you have nothing to fear about what I'm about to tell you. But if you own a home like me and you don't guard it with home title lock, you're inviting home title fraud. One of the fastest growing crimes. Cyber thieves around the world know our home values are sky high at the moment, and that makes us a target. The crime is scary simple. Let me explain it to you real quick. A cyber thief simply forges your name on a property sale form and refiles it.
That's it.
Now he or she is on the deed of your home and you have no idea that you're a victim. Then the person takes out a loan on your home and vanishes, leaving you to prove to the police that you didn't commit bank fraud. Home Title Locks puts a virtual barrier around your home title. The instant they detect any kind of tampering or anybody messing around, they help shut it down. Look, if you have equity in your home, you need to guard it the best way that you can. Some people might even go as far as guarding it with their life. Go to HometitleLock.com and register your address to see if you already are a victim. And enter the code RADIO. That's RADIO. That's the code RADIO for 30 days free of protection. That's code RADIO at HometitleLock.com.
You are listening to something magical. You're listening to the Rated R Safety Show.
Oh, magical indeed. Of course, magical indeed, as we do all of the things. Anyways, 15 minutes past the top of the hour. That's how it goes. Time moves. Time stops for no one. Now, people do stop for time, but that's a whole other conversation, and that probably sounds a little bit more morbid than what it needed to sound. That's for sure. So let's do this on this Monday. Let's get into the hit list because we need to talk a little bit things that are going on. A Fresno, California-based moving company called Meathead Movers promises a unique moving experience. The cruise includes college-age athletes who are required to jog from the truck and back into the house between trips and maintain a level of energy that's high intensely throughout the whole move and making it as efficient as possible. Now, the Federal Equal Employment Opportunity Commission has sued the company for violating age discrimination laws. Company owner Aaron Steed tells the Wall Street Journal that we are 100% open to hiring anyone at any age if they can do the job. The EEOC cites Steed's hiring practices as a form of discouragement bias, arguing that the recruits from a local gym in college, which are typically filled with the young buff bros who thrive on his team. This is according to the Wall Street Journal. Think about that real quick. I would have never thought all of this stuff would be something that we would be talking about, the EEOC suing someone. But then there you go. I wonder if they go into strip joints and, say, hey, you're not meeting the requirements because of what's going on. Or is that an independent contractor scenario? I don't know. Who knows?
We at Safety FM are not responsible for what this idiot behind the microphone is saying. He is trying to be entertaining. Rated R Safety Show.
What did I do? What do I do? So listen to this name, not to be confused with Peter Parker, but Peter Park has passed California State Bar exam, and he just turned 18. The prodigy enrolled in Northwestern California University School of Law when he was 13. Yeah, 13. He took advantage of the state law that allowed enrollment in law school after completion of the college-level proficiency exams. Out of order, in the meantime, he also earned his high school diploma that he just finished his law studies from in 2021 through last spring. Over the summer, he took the bar exam and started work for his local district attorney. This is according to via The Guardian. Imagine that. Yeah. He's my lawyer. What? I mean, people get weird about stuff, but hey, I think that's kind of cool. It's very Doogie Howser-ish. If you don't know what that is, look it up. It might be worth it. Neil Patrick Harris. Anyway, San Diego beachgoers spotted the remains of a 52-foot whale that washed ashore on Sunday. I mean, think about that. I would be a little scaredy-aredy of that going down. Not a doubt about it. No. Lifeguards on hand first tried to tow the carcass back out to sea with its tail connected to a boat with no luck. The staff from the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration arrived at the scene shortly after, but have not yet determined how the whale died. The NOAA will get a bigger boat to tow the remains out to the sea at some point today. So what do you think there? Does it sound yummy for you? Because think about it. That is going to be some weirdness because now you're going to know that thing is sitting there, abroad, ashore, whatever, but it's there. Yeah, some weirdness there. I mean, let's just be realistic. Okay, what else do we have going on? By the way, that came from NBC. Just so you know. 300 Santas took to the slopes on Sunday River Ski Resort in Maine over the weekend for a good cause. The annual event called Santa Sunday raises money for the River Fund in Maine and an education charity. This year's event raised about $8,000 according to a statement from the resort. So what do you think? What do you think? Did you hear about this? We're going to butcher the guy's name, so let's not say it. But this person has signed with the Los Angeles Dodgers for the biggest contract in baseball history. Biggest contract in baseball history. At $700 million over the next decade, the deal demolishes the one that was signed by Mike Trout in 2019 for $426.5 million over 12 years. So there you go. $700 million for 10 years. They must really want him, is what it sounds like. So what else is going on? Let's try this real quick. Let's talk about the box office because, hey, why would we not talk about the office of the box or the office box or the box office? Yeah. And by the way, before I get too far away into things, you know that we're already getting close to the year-end review shows. I'm just telling you because I'm already getting, the writers around here to start feeding me this stuff. I never know if that's what you want. I kind of always feel kind of weird about it. It's like, this is what happened, and this is the way that it was. Talking about all kinds of stuff before we get into the box office stuff. What are you doing for Christmas vacation? Are you going anywhere? Are you doing anything? Because it's a weird one this year. Because if you start looking at the dates and you look around real quick, I mean, it's just weird because you have Christmas landing on a Monday and New Year's landing on a Monday. So you already know that that's going to be extended whatever. So are you going to be like disappearing for a little bit? Because I would. I mean, why not take advantage of that if you have the option to do so? But it's some interesting time. So I don't know. I mean, I think that we'll be gone for a little bit, but we'll talk about that. So I'm kind of all over the place with that one. Anyways, let's do the box office now before I forget. 21 minutes after, at number 10 came in The Shift with $2 million. At number 9, Animal with $2.2 million. At number 8, The Waitress, the musical, $2.5 million. At number 7, Napoleon with $4.2 million. At number 6, Renaissance, a film by Beyonce, $5 million. That dropped from the number 1 spot from last week. At number 5, Wish with $5.3 million. At number 4, Trolls, a band together, with $6.2 million, stayed at number 4. Godzilla Minus One, $8.3 million. That one also stayed at number 3 as it did from last week. The Hunger Games, the Ballad of the Songbirds and Snakes, $9.4 million, stayed at number 2. And at the number 1 spot, The Boy and the Heron, $10.4 million, and taking the top spot inside of the box office for over the weekend. I haven't been to the movies in a hot minute, I think the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles was the last thing that I saw, and that was by force. I mean, because my kids wanted to see it. Let me make sure that I say this. Anyways, with that being said, let's talk real quick. Aaron Royale hanging out. Let's talk about some money.
More Americans are optimistic about the future of Social Security than they have been in recent years. Brad Siegel has the results of a new survey.
A new Gallup survey finds that half of non-retirees expect Social Security to pay them a benefit when they retire. That's compared to 47% who say they don't have faith in the system to help them. The positive response is up from readings between 2005 and 2015. Among those who are currently retired, just over half believe they'll continue to receive full benefits.
The Biden administration is approving an emergency arms sale to Israel. According to the State Department, the U.S. will sell roughly 14,000 tank cartridges to Israel for just over $106 million. A news release from the agency cited a section in the Arms Export Control Act that allows it to bypass Congress in approving the sale. The release said the State Department notified Congress that, quote, an emergency exists that requires the immediate sale of arms to Israel.
Look what you made me do. Look what you made me do. Look what you just made me do. Look what you just made me do.
Taylor Swift can now claim the first ever billion-dollar tour. Live music trade publication Polestar reports Swift's Eras Tour generated an estimated $1.4 billion in ticket sales. Polestar said between November 2022 and November 2023, the superstar singer-songwriter sold an estimated 4.35 million tickets to 60 shows. Polestar also estimates that Swift sold around $200 million worth of Eras Tour merchandise. Projections from the publication expect Swift will once again hit the $1 billion mark for her 2024 concert dates. Fans of artists may be able to more easily secure tickets to shows thanks to new legislation. A bipartisan group of senators introduced the Fans First Act to address flaws in the current live event ticketing system by increasing transparency in ticket sales and holding bad actors who engage in illegal ticket sale practices accountable. Consumer and business news, Aaron Real, NBC News Radio.
You know, with everything else going on, I'm so happy that we have our concert ticket thing almost fixed, because that's the important portion. You know, I want to make sure that I get true pricing on concert tickets. Think about this for a moment in regards to what I'm telling you. I know. What the heck? So anyways, let's talk real quick. Here's what I found from over on Friday. The Dow increased about 130 points to close at 36,427 on Friday. The S&P increased about 18 points to close at 4,604, and the Nasdaq increased by 63 points to close at 14,403. West Texas Intermediate closed at $71 a barrel. Brent crude was at $75 a barrel, and the national average price of a gallon of gas was $3.15. Bitcoin was mostly stable over the weekend, trading just around $43,700, and there was more than 5,130 flights delayed within, into, and out of the United States on Sunday, and there was more, let me see, in such about 800 cancellations. Yeah, so there you go. Quite a bit when you start thinking about it. Also, 2 Mega Million jackpot tickets were sold in Southern California. The winners will split $395 million jackpot. Tuesday's drawing will be for $20 million or a $9.6 million cash payout. Tonight's Powerball drawing will be for $477 million jackpot or a $229.7 million cash payout. So if you want to play the game, you have the opportunity to do so. Anyways, this one's circulating all over the place, so let's start taking a look at some more news. Former President Trump now says that he will not be testifying this morning in his fraud trial in Lower Manhattan today. Take a listen.
The decision was announced by Trump himself on Truth Social. The former president says he has testified to everything and has nothing more to say after testifying last month. Trump was expected to make his second appearance on the witness stand to be questioned by his own attorneys as the final witness for the defense. Because of Trump's change of plans, the court case that was expected to resume this morning instead will be pushed back to Tuesday. New York Attorney General Letitia James, who brought the case against Trump, saying in a statement, whether or not Trump testifies again, we have already proven that he committed years of financial fraud. Jonathan O'Halloran, NBC News Radio, New York.
Okay, thank you, Jonathan, for that information right there on what the hell is going on. Because, you know, hey, we want to know that stuff. So there you go. What do you think? Is that important to you? Did you want to know? Did you care? Or you kind of look at me and go, I don't know what's going on. Anyways, members of Colorado Springs community are showing their support for Israel after a peaceful rally held downtown. El Paso County Commissioner Cami Bremer gave a speech of message that she will support the Jewish community around the world and the nation of Israel.
Here in El Paso County, we have no place for anti-Semitism or tolerance of terrorists.
Hundreds were seen crowded in front of the City Hall steps yesterday. Religious leaders and community members called for the war in Israel's end. Many of those in attendance said that they have friends and family currently living in the war-torn nation. People showed their support in Israel with Israel flags and anti-war signs and pinning on blue ribbons. Joyce Barker attended Sunday's peaceful demonstration for Israel and says that she wants to see more acceptance for the Jewish community in Colorado Springs.
There's Jewish people that didn't put their Hanukkah candles out because of fear. They should have the freedom to put their candles out in the window if they want to.
I'm with her. I mean, yeah. As long as you're not hurting anybody else, why should you not be able to do what you want to do? Anyways, that's a story for a different day. That's the way that this goes. Take a listen to this. Four fires Saturday at York Creek Apartments in Alpine Township are under investigation. The first one happened around 11:30 a.m. Well, it doesn't say p.m. or a.m. Saturday morning. There you go. When a power line pole snapped from strong winds and destroyed the garage and several vehicles with resident Kiefer Baitlift saying it was scary.
Like these cars, they were loud. It was like boom, boom, each one. You could hear it.
Well, I would hope you could hear it, because if not, you wouldn't know what to do. I mean, I would imagine. Anyways, the second fire was reported around 6 p.m., and 2 kitchen fires were also reported at the complex. Residents needed to be evacuated while they were cooking dinner. The cause of the second fire is still under investigation. York Creek helped residents get to a hotel on Saturday night. Doug DeYoung, a consumer energy, is saying that they have dealt with several issues from high winds Saturday that also caused at least one of the fires at Allentown Township apartment complex. Take a listen.
From basically a line from Kalamazoo up towards Grand Rapids, those winds exceeded upwards of 50 miles an hour. So what we saw was damage to trees, causing limbs to fall.
That's some scary stuff when you start thinking about it. So there you go. Anyways, let's continue talking about some other things, because we always have some of those. An investigation underway after a body was pulled from the Hackensaw River. Jonathan O'Halloran has more.
The discovery was made just after 12:30 Saturday afternoon in Secaucus. The Hudson County Prosecutor's Office says the body was found in the river near the eastern spur of the New Jersey Turnpike. The body was pulled from the water by several local fire departments. A cause of death and identity of the man is still unknown. The investigation is ongoing by Secaucus Police and the Hudson County Prosecutor's Office Homicide Unit. Jonathan O'Halloran, NBC News Radio, New Jersey.
Okay, thank you, Jonathan, for that one. And just in case if you missed this earlier, a second top University of Pennsylvania official is resigning after a congressional hearing of anti-Semitism concerns on college and university campus. Scott Carr has more.
The University of Pennsylvania's chairman of the board, Scott Bach, stepped down from his post, reports say just minutes after the resignation of university president Liz McGill on Saturday. McGill was already under pressure after a pro-Palestinian event was held on campus in September, followed by Hamas's attack on Israel and reports of rising anti-Semitism on the Penn campus. Reports say that pressure was amped up last week when McGill and the heads of other universities refused to say before a congressional panel that calling for the genocide of Jews violated their respective schools' code of conduct. The president of Harvard University, Claudine Gay, has apologized for her response. I'm Scott Carr in Washington.
Okay, thank you, Scott Carr, for that one right there. Take a listen to this. A Denver man found guilty for death of a 9-month-old baby girl is being sentenced to 40 years in prison. Anthony Rosales, father of Gianna Gigi Rosales, says it's not justice that he wanted after waiting for 3 years.
When my baby died, we died. We're still living, but we're dead. We're all dead inside. And they don't understand that.
Kane Gajardo, who was Gigi's mother's boyfriend, was found guilty of child abuse, resulting in the death in October. The case finally came to a close on Friday in Denver District Court when Gajardo was sentenced to 40 years behind bars. Gigi's mother, Joeline Berluz LaCrue, is set to stand trial in February for the same charge. Gigi died in the summer of 2020 after she was brought to Denver Medical Health Center with an autopsy revealing that she was burnt. It was from blunt force trauma. Anthony Rosales also says that there's no amount of time served for King Gajardo or potential her mother that will bring back his daughter.
It just shows that it ain't that hard to be a parent. And it ain't that hard to get your daughter to safety. It ain't hard to keep your daughter safe. You know, and that's the big problem about this issue is they didn't keep her safe, and she's gone.
So there's a lot of questions that I have there. What exactly was he looking for in regards of timeline? And from that particular, because he said there's no time. There's no time that they could have been, well, we know that she can't come back. I mean, we're aware of this. It's a very difficult issue. A lot of stuff to talk about there. I mean, it's kind of one of those weird ones.
We at Safety FM are not responsible for what this idiot behind the microphone is saying. He is trying to be entertaining. Rated R Safety Show. Here is our main story on the Rated R Safety Show.
Oh, yes, today's that day in regards of when we get to talk and hang out and do all that fun stuff that we get to do during a main story, of course. That's what we're talking about here. So listen, over the weekend, let's start. Definitely got to hang out and listen to some very, very interesting things when it comes to dealing with business, when it comes to interacting with people, and particularly with the role that you have. Yeah, the role that you have within your organization. And I want you to give some thoughts here in regards on how we're talking about this, because I think it's going to be important as we kind of go through the stuff. Now, you have probably more than likely had some level of interaction with business-to-business customers, meaning, hey, somebody's trying to sell to your business, you're trying to retort or reply back. I mean, and it can be anything. And here's the thing. I don't know which side you've been on, if you are the seller trying to have somebody purchase, or you are the person that actually is trying to be sold to. But as you have the conversations and as you have discussions, have you ever noticed or come to the realization, depending which role you play here, that you have a severe impact on what I will call being the question architect? Now, think about that for a moment. Because being the question architect, you being the seller or being the person sold to, think about how the questions come about. If you are selling, you get to ask as many questions as you want in regards of what you're trying to get accomplished, just the way that it works. On the other side, if you're the person being sold to, you kind of direct those questions at the same time too, because your answers will intertwine what comes in and what comes about. Now, you're probably going, why are we talking about selling? I thought we were going to talk about safety. Thought we were talking about the news. Well, that's the thing. Think about how you craft your questions. There can be your questions related to several different things. Accident investigation. It could be based on not auto, but when it can be based on actually when you're going out there and doing reviews. Some people refer to them as audits. But think about it. How you question and drive stuff. You get to figure out how things are going to move. You are being an architect on where you're trying to get to, one way, shape, or form. Let's say, for instance, if we go back to the sales aspect, well, if you're being sold to, you're probably trying to do everything to get off the call. If you are the seller, you're trying to make a sell. The same way that when you're doing an incident and accident investigation, you are trying to get to a conclusion point on what drove to X and what can we do in the future to prevent or possibly even safeguard the things that are going on. So think about it. How do you architect? How does that drive the actual portion forward? How do you move by the question? Listen, there's always a question behind a question. Think about it. Regardless of where you're leading, there will be another question that comes up. Sometimes the answer is not exactly what you're looking for. I mean, and when I say that, I go, well, I thought I wanted the answer to my question. No, you do want the answer to the question, but it might not be the resolution you were hoping. Also, on the other side, most of the times, when the question is answered, the curiosity ends. So do you really want the answer to the question, or do you want to see what's going to drive you forward? Think about that. Question architect. We're going to talk a little bit more about this tomorrow, so don't worry about it, but we'll give you a little different aspect ratio on how that will actually work.
Oops! What did he just say?
We at Safety FM don't always agree with viewpoints of our hosts and guests.
Now back to real safety talk on Safety FM.
Don't go anywhere.
You're listening to the home of real safety talk.
You are listening to Safety FM. We'll be right back.
Let's start using cutting-edge warp speed 5G technology with your cell phone. Let me tell you about my friends at mobilemobile.io. They have an ultra-fast 4G LTE and 5G network that covers 99% of Americans. So they've got you covered everywhere. Think about it for a moment. You have the opportunity to take a test drive for 10 days with unlimited talk, text, and premium data. What is premium data? Premium data is an allotment of a cellular data that you receive from a higher priority on the network. You won't get throttled like you will with some of those, well, non-brand service providers. To find out more information, all you have to do is go to mobilemobile.io. That's mobilemobile.io to start your 10-day free trial.
Hello.
You're being infiltrated. Radio Big. So do you feel like you're missing out on what everyone is starting to do now, that live streaming thing, and you don't know where to start or what to do? I have the resource and the information to provide to you in regards on how you can stream onto 40 social media platforms all at one time. Yes, that's 40 social media platforms all at one time. All you'll need to do is go to safetyfm.com/1. That's safetyfm.com/1. That's ONE. So just in case, and you'll be able to start live streaming just like you're hearing people starting to do right now, up to 40 social media platforms.
Safety never sounded so terrible. Rated R Safety Show.
Well, you know that here at Safety FM and Radio Big, we're always trying to look for life hacks, though. With the busy season just around the corner, you might be looking for wholesome, convenient meals for your jam-packed days. Factor, America's #1 ready-to-eat meal kits, can help you fuel up with fast chef-prepared, dietitian-approved, and ready-to-eat meals delivered straight to your door. You'll save time, eat well, and stay on track with your healthy lifestyle. Refresh your healthy habits without missing a beat. Choose from 34 weekly flavored packs. Dietitian-approved meals ready to eat in 2 minutes. All you need to do is head over to factorsmeals.com/safetyfm50 and use code safetyfm50 to get 50% off. That's code safetyfm50 at factormeals.com/safetyfm50 to get 50% off. Go there. Do it now. These days, it can be hard to find and hire the right candidates for your small business. That's why LinkedIn Jobs made it easier to find the people that you want to talk to faster and for free. I have to tell you, even before they ever became a sponsor here on Safety FM, we have used LinkedIn Jobs to help find the people that we have here on Safety FM. It's an easy service to use. Create a free job post in minutes on LinkedIn Jobs to reach your network and beyond to the world's largest professional network of over 770 million people. Focus on candidates with just the right skills and experience and use screening questions to get your role in front of only the most qualified candidates. Then use the simple tools on LinkedIn Jobs to quickly filter and prioritize who you'd like to interview and hire. It's why small businesses rate LinkedIn Jobs #1 in delivering quality hires versus leading competitors. LinkedIn Jobs helps you find the candidates you want to talk to faster. Did you know that every week, nearly 40 million job seekers visit LinkedIn? Post your job for free at linkedin.com/safetyfm. That's linkedin.com/safetyfm to post your job for free. Terms and conditions do apply. And don't forget to mention that Jay Allen sent you.
More hits to help you work. Because to get rich, you gotta work hard.
Yeah, dude, like I just made so much money that I could just sit around on my ass all day and play video games.
Wait, I forgot about Dogecoin.
Dogecoin rules!
Time the world is wrong, we see it crystal clear, but we maintain the illusion that we all know why we're here.
Oh, there you go. This is Oceanic When You Fall. Yeah, this is still the Rated R Safety Show, but we're enjoying some tunes now. You know how this goes. It is currently 43 minutes past the top of the hour. Oh, yes. Hour number 1 of the Jay Allen in the Morning Show. And we still got that music going. Oh, hold on. And some guitar, please. I don't know how you can't enjoy this one. As you know, we go back to the song so frequently because I think it's so good. You know, for royalty free. And I shouldn't even say that because that's not even a true statement. for, let's see, for non-commission. Some good stuff. Some Oceanic. When You Fall. You know how it goes. Anyway, still the Rated R Safety Show. We are still hanging out. This is still Monday. Not much has changed there. It's important, though, because it's going to be a cool Monday. It's going to be a fun Monday. It's going to be whatever you decide to make it. Mental model, baby. Mental model. Okay, thanks, Oceanic, for letting us play this one for the 15th billion time because we love it. So let's do this. If you want to give a little streamer action to it, YouTube Music, Apple Music, also Spotify. I have to tell you, I was able to manage to change my year-end music count. I was super in shock that I was able to pull that one off. I didn't think that would be the case, but it was. It happened. It goes in that particular format. Anyway, so let's do this. Let me tell you about the most important aspect that I'm going to tell you in my lifetime, and that's about my friends. Are you ready? About my friends at To Right Love on Our Arms. No matter what you are facing, you deserve to be connected to help. To Right Love on Our Arms wants you to know that people have been where you are now, and things can get better. Healing is possible. So there you go. Some stuff going on always as we are talking, hanging and banging, moving and grooving. No doubt about that. Okay? So To Right Love on Our Arms, TWLOHA.com will get you moving and grooving in that particular neck of the woods. Listen, great resource, a lot of things available if you decide to go take a gander, but you have to take the first step. Go to the website, TWLOHA.com. To Right Love on Her Arms. Let's continue talking because there's always a ton of stuff for us to talk about. So let's get moving and grooving real quick. And as I am looking around, have you ever felt that like enjoying one single McDonald's Chicken McNugget? Well, if you were in Switzerland, you could order exactly that. Mickey D's are offering a single McNugget option to celebrate the menu's item's 40th anniversary. Fans love to enjoy their and the breaded bites, and also intense competition over who gets the final nugget according to a new campaign. By making the singles available at the fast food restaurant, everyone gets the last nugget. Each special nug sells for 1.2 Swiss francs, which is $1.36. Remember when you could get the whole thing for $1? Well, think about that. Prices have changed, that's for sure. Take a listen to this one. A high-end restaurant in Chicago is celebrating its 20th anniversary of the movie Elf by recreating a sugar coma-induced pasta dish that enjoyed by Will Ferrell's title character in the Christmas classic. Miss Ricky, an eatery located inside of Virgin Hotel, is selling the sweet surprise through December the 31st for $16. Darling, the daring dinner can be ordered with a mashup which features sugar-coated spaghetti, vanilla ice cream, chocolate sauce, marshmallow, M&Ms, crunchy wafers, and maple syrup. You don't have to be headed to a I can't even say what it's supposed to say. You have a cotton-headed misnomer here to make that to want to miss that. So there you go, some stuff to think about for sure as we are talking. I don't know. That sounds like a sugar coma to an extent to me in regards of that particular thing. I mean, I don't know. So there's something to think about. So take a listen to this one. This one's coming out of Michigan. Detroit police chief says James White says that a 5-year-old boy shot and killed himself accidentally at an apartment in city's west side.
We've got a baby now that is dead weeks before Christmas, should be getting excited about getting Christmas toys, and the parents leave a gun unsupervised.
Also, White says, let's see, what else? That the boy found the gun in a bedroom dresser and shot himself in the face while jumping around on the bed. There were 5 children at home alone in the apartment of 16,500 block of Greenfield Road at the time of the shooting around 1:30 on Saturday. The boy was pronounced dead at the scene, and the parents were arrested. Detroit police chief also went as far as saying that the 5-year-old boy was accidentally killed himself.
Parents not in the home. Weapon left on the dresser. 5-year-old gets the weapon, is playing with the weapon, jumping up and down on the bed, turns the gun on himself and shoots himself in the face, and died at the scene.
I'm kind of curious on what evidence was there that the kid was jumping up and down on the bed. I mean, how do you know that? That sounds like like an interesting one in regards to that. I mean, a lot of stuff going on there. There's probably so many different ways to break that one down as we are talking, but at the end of the day, a boy is dead. A suspect is behind bars in connection with what police are calling an anti-Semitic attack in Beverly Hills. An Orthodox Jewish man in his 70s is recovering from a laceration to the head after being hit with a belt on Saturday morning.
The first was a shock. There was a huge hard knock on my forehead here. I was really enraged, not because of the thing, because I was hit as a Jew.
Police say the suspect was a 44-year-old man yelled anti-Semitic statement to the victim while attacking him. The victim and his wife were on their way to a synagogue at the time. The suspect is facing the charges of a lawsuit with of an assault with a deadly weapon, attempted robbery, hate crime, and elderly abuse. The victim's wife says that the attacker was trying to rob her husband.
All of a sudden, I saw the guy hitting my husband with the belt and screaming, "Give me your earrings, Jew."
What a weird time we live in sometimes. I mean, I don't understand some of this stuff, but I guess that's why we're here to have the convo in regards of talking about what is going on. So there you go. Take a listen to this. We got some other stuff. Vermont Senator Bernie Sanders says that he supports Israel's rights to defend itself against Hamas, but the U.S. cannot simply give Israel Prime Minister Benjamin a blank check.
It would be irresponsible for the United States to give Netanyahu another $10 billion to continue to wage this awful war.
Speaking on CBS Face the Nation, Sanders called for what's happening in Gaza a humanitarian disaster, with most of those that have been killed and displaced being women and children. He added that he believes that Israel is losing the war in terms of how it was being viewed by the world. Last week, Sanders voted with Republicans in voting for against the $111 billion funding package for Israel and Ukraine that was requested by the White House. Senator Bernie Sanders from Vermont calls what's happening in Gaza a humanitarian disaster, and that most of those who have been killed and displaced, of course, like I said, was children.
You can go to war against Hamas, but you cannot go to war against the Palestinian people.
Sanders says that Israel is losing the war in terms of how it's being viewed across the world.
The United States has got to put all of the pressure that it can to tell Netanyahu to stop this disastrous military approach.
So a lot of stuff going on there as we are talking. Take a listen to this. Longtime climate activist for former Vice President Al Gore is hoping that the recent COP28 climate conference leads to positive results, despite what he calls conflict of interest as part of the host.
The fossil fuel industry has sought to control and manipulate this process for a long time. They're way better at capturing politicians than capturing emissions.
Gore, who attended the event in UAE, told CNN's State of the Union that it was ridiculous that it took place in a major oil field production country. He also criticized the selection of the CEO of the country's national oil and gas company as the conference host. Gore said that while those who took part of committed to phasing out fossil fuels, the host of the conference runs a company that plans to expand production of fossil fuels. Also, Al Gore says that when he criticized the CEO, this is what he had to say.
He's charged by his sovereign and the company that he heads with a massive expansion of fossil fuels.
Also, Gore says the UAE has interestingly committed to fossil fuels. Take a listen.
They've got a plan to expand production of both oil and gas by an enormous amount, starting the minute the gavel bangs to end this conference.
So there you go. Some interesting times, no doubt about that. Let's do this real quick. Let's bring some John Smalls into our life and let him tell us about the Motivation Minute.
The Motivation Minute is courtesy of InsuranceChicken.com. They're known for insurance quotes. Today's quote was submitted by Walter. Nito Quibben said, "Your present circumstances don't determine where you can go. They merely determine where you start." What a great quote. Think about the potential you have to do whatever you set your mind to do. I watched a great video from Steve Harvey. He talked about how he was down to $35 and he was about to give up on comedy when he was invited to an evening at the Apollo. It was a show on national television, but he didn't have the money to get to New York City. Then at that moment, he got a call to do a small comedy comedy show that helped raise the money he needed to get to New York City. Then he got to do that TV show, and he had a chance to launch his career. Imagine if Steve Harvey had just given up. Think of what we all would have missed out on. This has been today's Motivation Minute, courtesy of InsuranceChicken.com. They're known for insurance quotes. I'm John Small. Thanks for listening. Your favorite motivational quotes can be submitted for upcoming programs at motivationminute.org.
Cancer centers all across the U.S., including Augusta Health in Fisherville, Virginia, are continuing to monitor the shortage of chemotherapy drugs.
Officials say the cancer center did have some patients impacted by the drug shortage this past spring, although Andrew Moyer, clinical pharmacy specialist for Augusta Health, tells WVIR-TV they continue monitoring the situation and conduct weekly meetings to evaluate the quantities of 6 or 7 active medications they keep on hand. Recent patients have not been impacted. I'm Richard Stelling.
The director of the CDC visited Detroit last week, urging people to get flu, RSV, and COVID-19 vaccinations. Dr. Mandy Cohen toured the Detroit Healthy Housing Center on the east side of the city while a free vaccine clinic was held there. It's part of a healthcare desert, and that clinic gives people support if they can't get to a hospital or other healthcare center in the city. Health updates, Sarah Lee Kessler, NBC News Radio.
Rated R Safety Show. Sarcastic? Never.
Not this show. What are you talking about? This is not sarcastic. 55 minutes past the top of the hour as we are hanging out. So let's do this. Let's talk about it. Back in 2015, Playboy magazine published its last nude issue. Pamela Anderson was featured on the cover. That was 8 years ago. 8 years ago. Boy, did that thing change. Anyways, take a listen to some birthdays that are going on real quick. Jack Griffalo turns 27. Alexa Demi turns 33. Shane Gillis, 36. Colleen Hoover, 44. Ryder Strong, 44. Rey Mysterio turns 49. Mos Def, 50. Nikki Sixx turns 65. Jermaine Jackson turns 69. Brenda Lee turns 79. John Kerry turns 80, and Rita Moreno from West Side Story, she turns 92 today, just in case if you wanted to know. If you're looking at some days of the year to celebrate, UNICEF Day for change, National Have a Bagel Day, Green Monday, and International Mountain Day, and National Noodle Ring Day. So there you go. A lot of stuff to celebrate if you're in a celebratory mood, that is for sure. If you are looking at some random stuff, let's talk about them. If you are looking for a joke for today, let's try this one. The true nature of human being is clear to show when the supermarket opens another register. So there you go. If you need a phone starter for today, try this. What's the most frustrating product you own? If you need a question for the water cooler, try this. In a survey, the top 3 gifts that women said they dread getting most were gift certificates, tacky ornaments, and this. A diet book. Why in the hell would you give somebody a diet book? I mean, I don't know. That sounds a little oopsie to me. So there you go. Here you go. Let's talk about some scoops of BS for today. I just read the average Canadian is now worth more than the average American. For Americans, it's a steep price to pay for the ability to pronounce the word about correctly. Taylor Swift has 6 Grammy nominations for the February 4th ceremony. She also is up for a Lifetime Achievement Award in the field of overexposure. Motley Crue bassist Nikki Sixx turns 65 today. He'll spend the day shouting at the devil to get off of his lawn. Scientists say that 2023 was a breakthrough year in artificial intelligence. As for real intelligence, I'm going to just say it was an all-time low. And a woman dropped her pants and squatted to pee on the aisle of a flight when the flight attendant refused to let her into the lavatory. Oh, Greyhound, they call that first class, just so you know. So there you go. That's going to end our time together. Thanks for hanging out with me on this lovely, lovely Monday as you and I got to do our thing together, because that's always important as we are doing our stuff. Thank you for always being the best part of Safety FM and Radio Big, and that is the listener, because without you, it does not make a lot of sense to do what we do around here. Keep in mind of that. So, if I can leave you with a deep thought for today, I would love to leave you with this one. Work as you'll live through forever, and live as your day will die today. Think about that. Anyways, at the top of the hour, I'll be going over to Radio Big. Sheldon Primus will be on Safety FM. I will be on Radio Big. You have some options there and doing on whatever the hell you want to do. That's the great part about it. So there you go. Anyways, I know who you are.
Duh.
You know who I am. Love ya, mean it, and goodbye.
The views and opinions expressed on this podcast are those of the host and its guest and do not necessarily reflect the official policy or position of the company. Examples of analysis discussed within this podcast are only examples. They should not be utilized in the real world as the only solution available, as they are based only on very limited and dated open source information. Assumptions made within this analysis are not reflective of the position of the company. No part of this podcast may be reproduced, stored in a retrieval system, or transmitted in any form or by any means, mechanical, electronic, recording, or otherwise, without prior written permission of the creator of the podcast, Jay Allen.